Well, hey everybody. Welcome to the update stream. This is Bugs here. I'm joined today by Artemis and Shadow. Say hi, guys.
Hey guys, and Happy New Year.
Hi guys, Happy New Year.
Yes, and Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome to 2023. I hope you all had a wonderful holidays and a very happy new year. And we are here today just 1 hour out from the first update of 2023. So, as always, what we're going to do is go through what's coming in this update. If you have any questions as we're doing so, feel free to do at shadow_rustified in chat, and we will get to as many questions as we have the opportunity to. The update is expected at normal time, which is 1 hour from now, 2 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. GMT. And the update, as all First Thursday updates do, will force a map wipe across the board once it hits. There is no sign of a forced blueprint wipe. However, many community and modded servers, including Rustafied, most of Rustafied servers, I should say, do choose to wipe blueprints when the forced map wipe hits. So all Rustafied servers, with the exception of our medium threes in US and EU, will wipe blueprints when this forced map wipe hits as well. Now, what do we have going on in this update? Well, as most January updates are concerned, if you've been around for a couple of years like we have, you'll get familiar with the fact that January doesn't traditionally have a lot of content being released. And the reason for that, of course, is because last month was December. It's the holiday season. Facepunch closes their studios for a couple weeks and gives their developers some much deserved and needed time off. So there's not a whole huge amount of new content coming in today. It's more of a light content patch with some quality of life and fixes going on. So first and foremost, we've got No More Christmas. So the Xmas event that's been running for the past couple of weeks will be disabled when this update hits. So no more Santas going through the sky, no more presents spawning around you during the day. All that Christmas stuff is going by the wayside. And what we have going on coming in the update is mostly just in the realm of quality of life. So we've got some miscellaneous stuff, really kind of adding to the quality of life stuff that we saw in December. So in December, one of the changes we saw, and we saw a ton in the realm of quality of life, but one of them was the increased despawn times for various high value items. So that was upped from like 5 to 20 minutes for some items up to 60 minutes for a lot of items. When they're dropped on the ground, they won't despawn for 60 minutes. Now, to add to this, one of the big changes coming quality of life wise today is that dropped item containers. So it's not the corpse backpacks or anything like that, but when like a large wood box is destroyed or a furnace or a vending machine, and that little kind of like gray stash thing is left on the ground, it's that dropped item container will now take 2 hours to despawn, regardless of the contents in there. So this is going to be big for people who are getting rated and well, I should say it's more big for the people who are raiding. And if the people getting raided are trying to despawn their items, this should allow the raiders to have much more time to actually get the items and complete the raid before they despawn on the ground. So that's pretty cool. Also, what we've got going on in the realm of modular cars is that you can now steer the modular car when the engine is off. Because what we saw in December, along with the addition of locks, code locks, I should say, to modular cars, is that you could actually push cars and when the engine is off, but you couldn't steer them at all. And it really was kind of lacking in that way. So now a driver can actually steer the car while someone is pushing it, and that will allow you to get it on a lift or whatever you want to do with the car. Also, small change, but could impact some people. When the scrap heli dies to decay, it will no longer spawn uh, fireballs. Oh, and that's also the case for a mini copter as well. So when those copters just die to decay, it won't spawn fireballs anymore. They'll just kind of just uh, decay. And also a little change in elevators. The it used to say lower to bottom floor, and that has been changed to top floor or bottom floor to make it little make more sense for the default options for elevators. That's a little thing. And then also in the realm of farming and food, they are now allowing cloning of food like corn, pumpkins, and potatoes at a slightly earlier stage when you're growing. So that will just allow you to clone stuff a bit earlier than previously you could. And that's about it. I think there's some miscellaneous fixes and stuff like that coming in. Now, there is a ton of future stuff being worked on, future projects, and I'll discuss briefly because, hey, we got nothing else to talk about in the next 55 minutes before the wipe. So let's go. We've got this month, Lunar New Year is happening. I think that's on January 22nd. So the team is planning something for Lunar New Year, a little Lunar New Year event. In previous years, we've seen some custom items and things like that for Lunar New Year. And I think this year will be no different. We'll probably have some custom items and things. I imagine this is going to go live in an update 2 weeks from today, would be my guess, because that's the Thursday before the 22nd. But maybe the stuff is ready to go and we'll just sneak in today. I'm not sure if they're going to require a mandatory update halfway through the month to launch it or not. But regardless, Lunar New Year stuff is coming later in the month. Also, we've got a lot of work in the commits on the industrial branch. And this is a really interesting one because it stands to completely shift how both large and small groups really process goods and manage their bases. Because if you're not familiar, the industrial branch, it started with this type of auto crafter thing that will attach to various levels of workbenches. And then you put in a blueprint and the materials, and it'll just start crafting that thing automatically. And then they added some, it looks like, and take all this with a grain of salt because it is on a separate branch. We've never seen this stuff in action. We're just working on, what we're reading in the commits. So it's all subject to change. But basically, there's this auto crafter, and it'll be able to craft whatever blueprint you create and whatever and which aligns with the workbench level that the crafter is attached to. And then it looks like there's going to be like conveyor belts or some kind of industrial tubing that will allow the crafted item to then be sent to storage. And you'll be able to, it looks like, have some rules around where certain things go. So it's really automating the crafting and then storage of certain things. And then on top of that, it looks like there's an electric furnace as well. So the whole idea of needing, wood and just burning that to process your ore and stuff might go by the wayside because you'll be able to provide electricity to smelt your goods as well. And then it looks like with that as well, you'll be able to kind of automatically funnel these goods into storage. And that's my sense of the industrial branch in a long and short kind of summary. But this is being worked on as it's one of the top projects based on commits that's being worked on right now. And I imagine, and it's also on Aux 2 at the moment, but Aux 2 is not at the moment available for the player base to play. Sometimes they make Aux 2 available, and that's where the real bleeding edge stuff and the first layer of testing for a lot of this stuff goes into Aux 2. As it stands, though, we can't play it. So when this stuff is either merged into the normal aux branch or normal staging branch, we will, of course, do a full rundown of all the new industrial items, how they work, and how they might impact you and your group's gameplay in Rust going forward. No idea when the industrial stuff is going to go live. It is, as you can imagine, a very large body of work. So we might not see it for another couple months, but as soon as it's on staging, we'll on rustified.com have more information for you, as we always do, because rustified.com, if you're not aware, every Thursday, first thing Eastern time, like midnight Eastern on Thursday morning, we have an article going live that summarizes everything going on in Rust development in text and pictures. And then, of course, we're here every week, Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern, to give kind of a summary of what's going on in Rust development. So stay tuned as the industrial branch moves forward. And once it's on staging, we're excited to show it off. Also being worked on, we've got an RC drone, a remote controlled drone is another body of work, another project that's in the making. No word on when that's going to be coming in, but we can look forward to having actually player controlled drones being able to be deployed and used to, I imagine, just scope out things. I don't know if there's going to be any weapons on these drones. I get the sense it's kind of more of a kind of what's that word? Man, I got COVID in December. My fucking the brain fog is, I swear my vocabulary recollection since I got COVID is such garbage. I almost couldn't find the word for garbage. It's so bad. But anyway, reconnaissance. That's the word I was like delaying to think of. RC drone probably used more for reconnaissance, but we'll see. We'll keep you posted. There's also a nuclear silo being worked on. This been being worked on for a couple weeks, maybe even more now. No visuals on this yet, but it does look like a new monument that's in the works. Also, from the Hack Week back in what was that? October, November, we got weapon racks are still being worked on. That's one of the features. That and I think the emojis in chat are going to be coming in from that Hack Week stuff. If you also remember that Hack Week stuff, there was this body of work for airships, which the idea was that you could build a base and then attach a hot air balloon with a motor and it would turn it into this airship. That is not planned on coming in. That was just kind of this play Hack Week thing. But weapon racks are looking like they're going to make it into production at some point in the future, maybe even February. And how that works basically is you'll craft it. I think there's going to be a large, medium, and small weapon rack. And then what's pretty cool about this is it looks like it's going to negate the UI of actually having to go into a UI inventory thing and drag an item out. It looks like the weapon racks are going to be visually displayed on the rack itself, and then you point and click, and you'll just grab it. And then also on the flip side, if you want to get a weapon into the weapon rack, you don't have to click into the weapon rack and drag the weapon from one inventory slot to another. You can actually just toss the gun at the weapon rack and it'll automatically pick up. So that could be a nice little tool for quickly grabbing and dropping things on the fly. So that's maybe February we'll see that, maybe later. Also, they're of course working on optimizations. This is a ongoing thing that um, they're pretty much always working on it. It's rare that a month goes by where optimizations aren't working on, but or being worked on, I should say. But they're working on optimizations for the map. This is specifically the map right after you die and having the loading of that be better. We saw some optimizations for that last month so that there wasn't like hitches right when you die and it's bringing that map up. And they're just making some iterations on that to make that better. They're also working on this whole new Steam networking thing. Networking is currently being done primarily on RackNet, which is this old networking protocol that's been, I'm pretty sure it's been depreciated for years now. And so Steam networking is the new way to do it, but there's like, it's not an easy switch over. There's some issues that need to be worked out there. But ideally, once the Steam networking issues are optimized, all servers can switch over to Steam networking and the networking will be, in fact, better. There's also VFX stuff being worked on and some more optimizations to water catchers because those are a real resource hog on the server end. So some cool optimizations as well coming in. We've also in the, I hesitate to say this is concept limbo, but it's still being worked on. But pets, they will come at some point. It looks like there's going to be dogs that you can tame and everything. So that's being worked on as well. So, a bright future in store for 2023 and Rust development and what we're seeing come into the game. Oh, also, there's that whole server to server transfer stuff, that Nexus body of work, if you remember. Man, that's been over a year now that it's been being worked on, but that's going to allow for certain servers to link up and they're going to share wipe times and sync blueprints and then players will be able to, with all their items and their friends, hop in a boat, go out to this ferry terminal on the water, and then actually transfer to another server with their items, with their boat, with their friends. So that's going to be really interesting too. And that's probably coming sometime in 2023. It looks like it's going to go to Facepunch official servers first. But then once it is available to play with, we're going to be playing with it on maybe medium one to medium two, and maybe a long one to long two. We'll see. We'll see what we'll play with there. But nevertheless, a bright future in store for Rust development for this year. Now, a couple housekeeping things around with Rustafied, and then I'll get into some questions. But a couple changes we're doing with the new year and everything like that. One, I am sorry to announce, but we are going to be closing our Brazilian servers, our South America servers, when this update hits in 45 minutes. And if you've been following along, this probably won't come as too much of a surprise. And I'm sorry, my heart kind of aches to do this because I know people love those servers, and I know that's a big deal in Latin America. But where we've been at is we had a host, which is why we got in Latin America in the first place. It looked like they had good DDoS protection and could actually provide us with the hardware and infrastructure we need to run a server that's up to our par. But unfortunately, it never worked out that great. There were a lot of issues with that host. We found a new host that was getting installed in a data center in Sao Paulo, and we signed up with them, and they were shipping hardware down there. And we temporarily moved the server to Texas because the host we had in Sao Paulo wasn't working. That host, not for nothing, has gone out of business now. The whole business shuttered, so we got off just in time. But we've been waiting, being in Texas, waiting for the hardware to get shipped in Sao Paulo. The first package was sent mid last year, and it was stolen. The second package was sent, I want to say August, and it's been sitting in customs collecting dust ever since. And we've looked at other hosts, we looked at other countries. Long and short, it's not feasible to host down there and to host reliably a server that is up to our standards. And so I'm sorry to announce, but we are cutting our losses here and closing the BR region when this update hits. And not for nothing, if you have been playing on our BR servers for the past 6 months, then you've been playing out of a US based server anyway. And so if you play on our US servers, you're going to have a very similar experience as far as ping and performance and everything like that. So I, yeah, I'm sorry to announce that, but I hope you understand where we're coming from with that. Now, another thing we got going on is we did do a vote last month on wipe times because we got a bunch of requests for earlier wipe times. Now, the vote was very close, but I did make the call to move the wipe time to 2 hours earlier for each region. So instead of 5 p.m. local time for the region, it's going to be 3 p.m. local time for the region. This is a little closer to the 2 p.m. update time. And also, it just gives more time for people to play on wipe day. So we're going to try it out. If it really sucks or really doesn't work, I'll consider moving it back. But I want to try this for the new year and just give people more opportunity to play on wipe days. Just makes sense to me. And then finally, we also have applications open for moderation. So moderation, server moderation on Rustafied servers is a volunteer position, and it's 18 plus only. But if you're interested in helping us get rid of hackers and all that stuff and helping support the Rust community through server moderation, then I encourage you to go to rustified.com/apply and fill out an application. We're going to be doing a round of applicants over the next several weeks. So go check it out, rustified.com/apply. And boy, I think that's all I had, Shadow. Do we have any questions from the audience?
Not a whole lot, but we do have some. When Swift?
Good
Hello?
question. Yeah, sorry, my headset decided to turn off right as you asked that question for inactivity, even though I'm sitting here talking. I don't know why my headset doesn't know that. But WIP is at the it's when the update hits, and the update is expected to hit at the normal time, 2 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. GMT, and so that's 42 minutes from now, give or take. And normally, how this goes down is we'll see the server update go live. That server update goes live probably in about 10 to 20 minutes, a bit before the turn of the hour. And then 15 minutes or so after that, we'll see the client update go live and then the dev blog go live. And when that client update hits, that's when we say, okay, the update is officially live. When the update hits, you will have to, uh, of course, exit your game and go to the Steam library, queue the update. If for any reason we're saying the update hit and you're not seeing an update on your Steam library, you can either restart Steam or you can right click on Rust, go to properties, go to local files, and just start the process of verifying local files or whatever that is. You can cancel it immediately, but the first step of that based on what I've seen, is it pings Steam for it queries Steam for if there's an update. So it'll queue the update immediately, but then you can cancel out. You don't have to go through the process and then run the update. But anyway, that should happen within the next 40 minutes here. So we'll keep you posted.
I saw someone just asking if we can show off the elevator again.
We can indeed,
Yeah,
yeah.
let's do it.
Thank you. Are vending machines dropping loot bags when destroyed now?
Yeah, they have been, haven't they? I mean, we've got time. We can
Yeah,
confirm and
we can pop everything down
destroy
anyway
one.
and just double check. Yep.
Can you still despawn loot by placing a foundation on them?
Tested it with the new update, so I can do that too.
Yeah, we'll test that. And we got time here. So if you guys want us to test stuff, just ask away. And once again, please do @shadow_rustified in chat so we can see it. Or I should
Yes.
say, so Shadow can see it.
Makes it a lot easier though. When do we get mini bikes?
Good question. I'd love me some mini bikes. I think some new vehicles would be awesome. I think there's definitely still a lot of room for improvement on horses, not for nothing. But I would love to see some sort of two-wheel vehicle make its way into the game. I think that would be a cool addition.
Just reading through the
Let's have a
others.
look.
Why? Huh?
I said let's have a little look while you're having a look.
Okay. Why can't I see the Rustafied AU servers on all my server browser?
Well, one thing that you might have missed is we did actually finally switch our AU region to our new host. And so we were waiting on this switchover. We were waiting on, just like in the BR, we were waiting on hardware to come in to our AU data center for like months. But over the holidays, it finally came in. And so we did switch our AU servers over to this new host. It's also on better hardware and better, like a better network overall. So I'm happy to say we might be able to up the pop on some of our servers in AU. We're going to play with this. We want to make sure performance is held strong. That's paramount, of course. But with that, the IP did change, and so if you're looking for it on your favorite list or whatever, or your history, it's not going to be there because the IP changed. But do check on the official list, and it should be there.
So yeah, just to confirm, if you pop the foundy, then yeah, you haven't got the. It doesn't look like the bag drops at the moment. I think there was another question about the vendors, was there?
If the vending machine is just destroyed normally, but not with the foundation, it does drop one of those
Oh, it
item
does.
containers, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It
cool.
does.
Will I have to update Rust when it wipes?
Yes, you will have to update this forced update and map wipe, as all first Thursday updates do. Uh, it includes not only a server update but a client update, and it's mandatory, meaning if you don't update your client and you try to join a server that updated, you won't be able to join. So yes, when this update hits in, what is it, 37 minutes,
Yep.
maybe hopefully even sooner, we will see, but you will have to close your game of Rust and run an update on your Steam library.
When is Gravis coming back to Synlabs?
Ooh, good question. It might actually come back in February because I got notice from the developers that Happus is being discontinued in February, apparently. And we've been playing a lot of Happus on Zen Labs because that has been an officially supported map and a lot of people like playing it. But yeah, it's dying. So, which is kind of a shame. They've like worked, Peter, I know, has worked a ton on it, but hey, at a certain point, I get it. It's just that juice ain't worth the squeeze, as some people say. But with that, if Happus is going by the wayside, we're going to be looking at what else we can put on our ZenLab servers. I think Gravis is a great option. And I love the idea of custom maps in Rust. I think there's a huge future in that. And unfortunately, we're still just, if anything, breaking out of the infancy stages of custom map making for the game. And so to run a server with a bunch of custom maps, there's a lot of things that can go wrong, a lot of plugins that sometimes are needed. And so it's finding that like quality map, but also one that provides a reliable experience. And Gravis definitely takes the cake on that in my experience as like one of the best custom maps. So we're definitely going to look to have that one come back on Zen Labs and maybe one or two others, and then just rotate among them. If you're not familiar, Zen Labs actually used to be our Savas servers, which was another custom static map that Facepunch discontinued support of. So we kind of just made it this kind of test zone for custom maps and various other things. So yeah, we'll play with that as Happus gets removed and we move into February.
So someone asked if you can use, if you can try and do C4 and explosive ammo on the vending machine.
Yeah, why not? And I saw a quick question. Are Rustafied servers wiping blueprints when the update hits? And the answer is yes. The majority of them are wiping. The exception is our US and EU Medium 3 servers. Those do not wipe blueprints unless blueprint wipe is forced, but all our other servers wipe blueprints with the forced map wipe at the first Thursday of every month. And so it will be fresh wipe map and blueprint action on most Rustified servers in about half an hour.
Are you guys looking into hiring max pub on long servers?
Probably not. The balance with that is performance over the entirety of the month and entities. So we might be able, and depending on demand, we might be able to uh, temporarily up, but for the long term, a month wipe, it really, in my experience, doesn't work to have much more than 200 and have performance really hold out throughout the month. But with optimizations and changes to the game, I'm always interested in retesting that. So I will consider depending on demand and everything like that. But I'd say probably just count on the long staying at the 200 max pop.
Someone is asking if we all had a good Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah, it was really nice and relaxed actually for me, which I'm happy about because a big half of my family is across the sea and didn't come to visit. Last year they came to visit and they were staying in my place for a couple weeks and it was like a zoo. But this year it was much quieter. I did miss seeing my nieces and stuff like that, but it is nice to just kind of have a quiet, relaxing holiday every now and again. How about you guys? How was your Christmas and break?
It
Yeah,
was all right.
the
I
same,
was
very nice
working
and
most of
quiet.
the time, so
That's it.
work.
Yeah, I managed to take a little break. I got back into Red Redemption 2 a little bit. I was just hunting. Like I was just being a pelt trader for a while. And then just the other day I picked up Assassin's Creed Unity actually, which is like 8, 9 years old. Still holds up though. I remember it being like a flaming pile of shit when it came out, but with the patches and everything, it's like it's all right. It's all right if you like role playing as a sneaky assassin. But that's what I've been up to, just kind of relaxing on the couch, and that was much needed, not for nothing.
Are there any upcoming huge changes this year and updates? For example, like the recall changes in Rust that changes the whole game meta.
Well, I'm not aware of anything that quite would align with the recoil change because that was a big change. And I see people
Probably
asking,
server transferring, probably.
yeah, maybe
If that comes in.
server to server or the industrial stuff, I think could really be a big game changer as well, depending on how all encompassing it is and what the balance of that is. But with the recoil stuff, I do see people asking, is there new recoil? Are they reverting the recoil? What's going on with recoil? And as far as I know, nothing is going on with recoil. I don't think there's any plans to revert back to the old recoil. And I don't see any real big changes to recoil coming in. So I think recoil is just staying where it's at. But as far as like new things coming this year that could be really big, the server to server transfer, that Nexus body of work could be a really big one because that will allow players and groups to go from one server. You can have a base on one server and then literally go raid a base on another server and then bring those items back to your base on the other server, if that makes sense. I mean, that's a pretty big game changer, not for nothing. So we're going to see when that comes in. We will let FacePunch kind of test that for a month or so to start, but then we will play with the idea. We've got some good opportunities on our Rustafied properties to sync up some servers. So we're going to play with that, and that could be a big game changer. The other thing, as I mentioned, the industrial work, because that involves auto crafters, electric furnaces. It looks like conveyor belts to not only once you auto craft stuff, you can then have it transferred automatically with a certain limit on things, certain rules on where things are transferred. So that could really fundamentally shift how people build bases and manage their groups and their bases. The other thing with the server to server transfer stuff is that involves a huge clan system as well, which is, if you're not familiar, it's basically like a team system on crack because it is aligned for having groups of like 100 or more managed across multiple servers. So that's going to be pretty big, especially for big groups. Um, and then there's some other not so big stuff, but cool stuff coming in. The pets, I think, is going to be an interesting one. Having a pet dog be able to uh, protect you, or I don't know exactly if they're going to bark when people are around your base. I'm not sure what the function or the utility of the pets is going to be beyond just maybe some help on protecting and guarding. But the pets is coming in. We've got RC drones, remote controlled drones, so player reconnaissance via drone. I think that's going to be interesting. A new nuclear silo, so a new monument, weapon racks, and optimization. So there really is, and there's more stuff on top of that as well. So there's some cool stuff in store for this year in Rust development, I'd say.
Well, to both of those then. C4 and X-Play right there.
Yeah, thanks for testing that.
When is the server networking switching over?
We don't know. They were trying to switch it over last year, at the end of last year, but it wasn't quite ready. And if you look at the commits, you'll see a lot of commits for that Steam networking optimization type body of work. So I'd say that's up in the air. We'll probably switch over when it's ready. But that's a tricky one because if there's a glitch in the networking, then that can cause a whole server to stop performing or even crash. And so it's a very that's a delicate one. And I'm hoping they iron out all the wrinkles and glitches and all that stuff before launching it because it can be a nightmare having to deal with those issues as a server owner. But I'd say probably quarter one. If I had to guess, I'd say that new networking will probably go live first quarter this year.
Is there any changes to pump jacks and queries?
Nope, not since the changes last month with the diesel and the new amounts and everything like that. But I haven't seen any quality of life or tweaks in the past month to that.
I'm just going through here. What is this? Many posts asking for ability to turn off the new event notification. Is there any change to them?
Uh, Not that I've noticed. It would make sense to be able to toggle that off, not for nothing. But I have not seen that ability come in or heard anything about that coming in. But yeah, uh, that would make sense to be a HUD option or something like that.
Will the EU Rustafied servers wipe as soon as false hits? I heard the NA ones are wiped later.
Well, you heard wrong. So to clarify, what happens on the forced wipe on the first Thursday of every month? That's when and it doesn't matter when that first Thursday is, whether it's the first day of the month or the seventh day of the month. Whenever that first Thursday hits is when they do at 2 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. GMT is the normal update time. And shout out to FacePunch because they've been on point with that for years now, I'd say. Um, that is when the update hits on first Thursdays. And when that update hits, it forces a map wipe. And so all Rustified servers wipe when that update hits. And frankly, all Rust servers should wipe when that update hits at 2 p.m. Eastern for first Thursdays. Now, every week after that, the servers wipe at a normal scheduled wipe time. We did just change that from 5 p.m. local time for the region to 3 p.m. local time for the region. This was after we ran a vote for a month. The vote was very close. I will be straight. The keep it at 5 p.m. did technically win the vote, but it was so close. I made the call saying, hey, let's give people 2 more hours of gameplay on wipe days. Doesn't that make sense? It just makes sense to me. And it's closer to the 2 p.m. update launch time. So it's a little bit more in line with FacePunch schedule as well. Now, if it sucks, if it totally blows and doesn't work, I'll consider changing that wipe time back. But that's where we're at for now. But for today, for the Thursday forced wipe, all servers, US, EU, AU, SEA, I'm not going to say BR because RIP BR, but they all wipe when the update hits at 2 p.m. Eastern.
Is there going to be any Twitch drops today?
I have not heard of any Twitch drops today, and I don't think there's going to be any Twitch drops coming because if you go to the twitch.facepunch.com, it's still got some of the charitable Rust campaign stuff up, but nothing on that. Ooh, slight update on charitable Rust, by the way, since we're just killing time kind of here. The skin sales from Steam did get dispersed to us. So if you look at the Tiltify campaign, we have donated our end of the skin sales, bringing the campaign up to almost $90,000 raised for this amazing cause. Once again, this was World Central Kitchen we supported in Charitable Rust 2022. And yeah, it was just under $60,000 of skin sales, which was our proceeds of the skin sales. And now we're just waiting on Face Punch. And I bounce back and forth with them. They are working on it. The finance manager over there is going to get to it, I believe, this month. Face Punch will donate their end of it, and then we'll say the campaign is complete. So excited about that. But as it stands, that campaign is not complete. We're still waiting on Face Punch to put up their money, and then we'll have a final number. But back to the Twitch drops thing, I don't think there's any Twitch drops happening today.
I saw someone asking if there was a YouTube video on the base design here. That's just me fooling around. It's not really bad or hard to make. So
That'd be funny if we did a YouTube video series of just the worst defendable bases, like one rocket raid, baby. Anyway,
to the loot.
Just leave the door open.
yeah, just have it be Twitch or god damn, not Twitch. Words. What are you gonna do?
Brain fart.
Yeah, brain fart. Anyway, any other questions we got going on? What do we got? We got
Yeah.
probably the server update's going to hit in the next 5 minutes or so. I'd say most likely. Doesn't look like it's hit yet. And then we should see the client update hit a little bit after that. So we are just about 20 minutes away from the update. If you have any questions as we're just hanging out here, because there's not much, let me do a quick recap actually before we do questions. It's a light content patch. If you have questions, shadow_rustified in chat. Not a whole ton coming because, hey, the team was taking a break in December, a much deserved and needed kind of break. So not a ton of forward development on new content was accomplished, even though a bunch was, but not a bunch of new content is ready to go live today, given the holidays. We do have quality of life coming, though. Dropped item containers will always take 2 hours to despawn, regardless of contents. So this is like not the corpse backpacks, but if you've got a large wood storage and that's destroyed, that little kind of gray stash thing, that dropped item container will hang out for 2 hours, 2 real life hours now. So that's cool. Also, the driver can now steer a modular car when the engine is off. This allows for one person pushing and one person steering. Also, don't spawn fireballs when minicopter or scrap heli dies to decay. They've also changed the elevator thing to make a little more sense. They changed it from lower to bottom floor just to say top floor or bottom floor for the default option to make more sense. Also, they are allowing cloning of food like corn, pumpkins, potatoes at a slightly earlier stage. And that's just a couple of the quality of life things coming in today. There were a couple miscellaneous fixes and things like that. But overall, that's the recap because there's not a ton of content coming in today. One piece of content that is going away today, of course, is the Xmas content. So the Christmas event that's been running for the past couple of weeks, that is being disabled when the update goes live. And then we just have kind of a couple of these quality of life things kind of building on the quality of life stuff we saw last month, and then we'll see some more content as we go forward in the months. We've got later this month, we got Lunar New Year coming. And then there's a whole bunch of work on the industrial work. That's autocrafter, electric furnace, conveyor belts to like move things around automatically. There's a remote controlled drone being worked on. There's a new monument, it looks like a nuke silo. There's weapon racks being worked on, which will be cool. You can toss a weapon at it and it automatically picks up. And then you can just point at, you can visually see the weapon on the rack and then point at it to pick it up. You don't have to go through like UI elements and stuff. That's going to be pretty cool. And there's a bunch of optimizations they're, of course, working on as well. And then also a little recap on some Rustafied stuff. We are unfortunately closing our BR servers when the update hits. Our South America region is closing. Long and short, we couldn't find a reliable host to run servers in a fashion that was up to our standards, quite frankly. The host we were with literally went out of business and it didn't work well to begin with. Then we found a new host. We mailed shit down there. It got stolen. We mailed more stuff down there. It's been collecting dust in customs. It's, I assume, just lost or stolen again. And we've been hosting the BR servers out of Texas for months now. But it's just, we got to the new year and it's like, let's just cut our losses here. And so we're closing the BR region. I apologize to all our Latin American fans who are impacted by this. But if you have been playing on Rustified BR for the past couple of months, then playing on any Rustified US based server is going to be basically the same thing, because the fact of the matter is our BR servers for the past 6 months have been hosted at the US anyway, because we've been dealing with this logistical bullshit. But that is the case with BR. Also, new server wipe time. So any day that isn't a forced wipe, so starting with our Monday odd wipe servers this coming Monday, the wipe time is moving from 5 p.m. local time to 3 p.m. local time, 2 hours earlier, to give you guys just 2 hours more gameplay time on wipe day. Also, we've got moderator server apps open. So if you want to help moderate our servers, then I encourage you to go to rustified.com/apply. It is a voluntary position and it is 18 plus or older. 18 plus, I guess, covers it, right? I don't have to say or older. But yeah, mod applications are open. Rustified.com/apply. We're going to be doing a round of onboarding in the next several weeks. And yeah, with that, do we have this update coming out? Ooh, look at this. Server update is out. Look at that. Oh, and I missed it by a couple minutes. Let me tweet about it real quick. Server update is out. That's a good sign. Once again, the server update comes out, then the client update hits probably 10, 15 minutes later. And when that client update hits, we say the update is officially live. So with the server update coming out at 1:38, that is good timing to show that we are looking for an on-time update here. So let me tweet about it real quick. Okay, cool. And with that, I also just want to take a moment to thank everyone for tuning in. And once again, wish you all a happy new year. We are not the developers of Rust. We are not on the Facepunch payroll. We are just an independent organization, and we're just made up of fans of the game just like you. We love reporting on development news and running the best servers that we can. And frankly, the only way that we can continue to do all that is through the support of the community. So I just want to take a moment and acknowledge each and every one of you for tuning in and just watching, to people who give bits and subscribe on Twitch, And to our wonderful, beautiful VIP customers, thank you all so much. We literally could not do this without you. So thank you. And here's to another awesome year of Rust development. Man, we're going on like 10 years now almost. It's kind of crazy. Oh, and
Very fast.
I didn't change the overlay to say the server update's out. There we go. Server update is out as well. Shadow, do we have any other questions as we're just kind of winding down here?
Now we do have a few, and Holmesy also messaged saying that there is a way to turn off the notifications,
Oh,
which
hell yeah.
server underscore event underscore tips space 0.
Oh, that makes sense. They would have made it a CVAR. I was kind of surprised when I was saying that it wasn't a CVAR already, but Holmesy, thank you for that clarification. Happy New Year, man. And Shadow, do you want to say that one more time for everyone at home?
So say I can repeat it. Server underscore event underscore tips space 0.
Nice. Server event
Unders
tips.
server
Yeah.
underscore event underscore tips space 0.
And you can turn it off if you don't want to see those server event
Notifications.
notices. Cool.
So someone was asking a few times, how old is Rustafied and who started it?
So, man, Rustified is going on 10 years old now. I think because I started sometime in, I want to say 2014. It might have even been 2013. I don't, yeah, I'm not sure. But anyway, it's about 10 years we've been doing this. Um, and I started it. I'm Bugs, and I founded Rustified. We started back on Legacy. This was before the new version Rust was even like available to be hosted. I was running a Legacy server. I was watching the show Justified with what was that, Timothy Oliphant or whatever. I thought that show was so cool, and I was like, wait, Justified, Rustified. And then I started a server where like I thought if people don't have their pants on, they can gather and it's not PvP unless you're wearing your pants. I was calling it PvP pants. Yeah, that shit never took off and was such a nightmare to try to police. But then when Gary released the new version of Rust, the experimental, as it was known back then, where everyone was just a naked Newman spawning with a bolt action, running through grassy knoll fields and big wolf monuments, and you couldn't even build a base that was secure or store anything, and it wasn't worth it because there's not much to do. But literally that day that Gary launched the server code for everyone to run a experimental server, I spawned an AWS instance up and started hosting an experimental server, and then never looked back. And we've been doing that since. So it's really been crazy to see us grow from one server with 40 people in it to now we have 40 servers with thousands of people in it. And I'm excited to see what the future holds too, because man, if you had asked me 5 years ago and said, "Hey, how much longer does this game have?" I probably would have said like, "Oh, I don't know, maybe 5 years." But now we're 5 years later, and I'm like, I don't know, maybe five, maybe 10 years. I don't know. They're still developing it like crazy. Uh, I I swear this game should really win Labor of Love every fucking year for the Steam Awards because uh, you don't really see a unicorn like this develop a development team just constantly adding new content, tweaking, improving year after year, month after month, week after week. It's really awesome to see. So just a shout out to everyone at Face Punch too. Happy New Year to the whole team, and thank you all for continuing to create this amazing game.
And also the same person asking for this question is saying thanks a lot for your work. Very happy for what you guys have done, and thanks to Bugs.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you saying that, and thank you for tuning in. And we'll keep doing it, man. We're gonna keep doing this as long as the game's being developed, man. I'm gonna be here every week, writing an article and sharing with you all about what's going on.
Let me see what else we have here. Um, will they finally add avatar choice this year? Been playing as a bald man for quite some time.
You know, I don't think so. And this goes back probably like 8 years ago when they first put, maybe 7 years ago when they first put character customization in. Not customization, but everyone was a bald white dude, right? For the longest time, and then all of a sudden they have a couple variants of the dudes, and then they added females, and all of a sudden people woke up with tits and lost their mind, and were like, wait, I don't want to be this, I don't want to be that, and they asked Gary, and Gary was like, "Well, you can't choose what you look like when you're born in real life, so why would you be able to choose that in Rust?" I think that was roughly the wording he used. Now, whether you agree with that or not, it does kind of speak to the underlying ethos around the idea of changing your character. I don't think you're ever going to be able to do it. And Gary as much said, if you want a new character, just buy the game again, which, yeah, is still kind of the best option as far as I'm aware.
I just saw one asking, can I apply volunteer work for you guys if I'm 17?
You can wait till you're 18 and then apply, but sorry, brother. We have a pretty strict 18 years or older policy just from legal
Yeah.
reasons.
Did developers, hold on, did developers give notice how big the electric furnace is?
No, there's very little information available about that industrial branch because it all has been being worked on its own branch. It is now on aux 2, but unfortunately players don't have access at the moment to aux 2. So it's all to say we don't know how big it is. It's interesting. I was trying to conceptualize how this auto crafter is going to work, right? Because the idea is based on commits, you put this blueprint in and then you put the resources in and then it crafts. But I was like, is that going to be a normal blueprint that the player studies, that type of blueprint? And it looks like no, because based on some of the commits in the past day or so, it looks like there's going to be this like craftable type of blueprint that will be used for the industrial stuff. So you'll, I guess, with an item, craft a blueprint, but I'm not sure. It's all to say there's a lot up in the air with the industrial body of work. I'm really interested to see how that's going to change the workflow, especially for large groups when it comes to resource gathering and then crafting management and the smelting of items. I saw someone ask, is the electric furnace going to produce charcoal? And I don't think so. I don't think so because, well, the charcoal is produced by that's the byproduct of the wood burning, right? So if it's an electrical furnace, you're not going to have the wood burning. Ooh, client update just hit. Look at that. But yeah, we'll see. It's all to say, as soon as the industrial stuff is merged into a staging branch that we can play, we're going to be on that shit, cataloging it, and we'll get an article out on rustified.com as soon as possible to show you everything you need to know as a player about the industrial stuff. But client update did hit. Let me tweet about it. That's when we say, holy shit, the update is live. And it's like 8 minutes early now, but client update hit. I'm going to tweet about it real quick. Wow. Do you ever try to type fast and then you type like way worse because you're just
Yeah.
going fast? Yeah, that's me when I'm
Mm.
trying to tweet on these things. I'm like, go fast. And I'm like,
As we call it.
yeah, yeah. My fingers get very, very fat on wipe days. Anyway, the update is live, everybody. Restart your game, close out of Rust, look at Steam. If you're not seeing an update queued on your Steam library, then either restart Steam or right click onto the Rust item on your Steam library, go to properties, go to local files, start verifying the integrity of local game cache, but then cancel it immediately because the first step of that verification is pinging Steam for if there is an update. But run that update. We over here have been updating our servers. We're updating all the Rustified servers. It is not only fresh wipe action, but fresh blueprint wipe. So full wipe action on all Rustified servers, with the exception of medium threes, which only wipe blueprints if forced. But we got some great fresh wipe action here available once you update. And anything else, guys, before we wind down?
Yes, there's a few questions real fast.
Sure.
So real fast, someone was asking, don't you get tired of answering the same questions every week or force? But for me, I can only speak for myself. I don't think it's annoying because I know there's a lot of new players that still need to know. So I don't think it's annoying at all.
Yeah, I love doing this. I love being of service and just being here and sharing with people and talking to y'all every week. Uh, it's weird because I don't know pretty much any of you, but you all have a very close place in my heart because I love what we've built here over the years, and I love doing this every week. So no, I don't tire of it. Honestly, some weeks I do go, oh God, I gotta do it. But but that's just normal human stuff, right? Everyone does that about everything, I feel like, occasionally. But when it comes down to it, I do love doing this and I don't tire of it.
Do laser lights affect the server performance?
Not that I'm aware of. I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Anything
Will,
else?
yeah, will
Oh,
the
sorry.
symbols be removed with the Christmas event being removed?
Yes.
Where can I find the patch notes?
Rustafied.com or rust.facepunch.com for the official dev blog, which should be live by now. Let me check. Surviving 10 years. Oh, yeah, here we are.
Big Papa is saying this was the most wholesome update stream I've watched. Have a good wipe chat.
Oh, thank you so much for saying that. And yeah, Happy New Year, guys. Happy to be here. Once again, we will be back every week. We're here, same time, same place, 1 p.m. Eastern. And do tune into rustified.com every Thursday, Eastern Time, midnight. We launch the article, which summarizes everything going on in Rust development in text and pictures. Also, we are putting the VODs of these streams up on our YouTube channel, Rustified Gaming on YouTube. So if you miss a week and you don't feel like doing the Twitch VOD thing, because especially on mobile, I feel like that just sucks compared to YouTube, then you can check it out Fridays afternoons. We premiere the VOD of the day before stream. So check that out as well. And yeah, I think we're going to wind this down here, Shadow, unless you have anything else.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for the subs that came in, by the way. A lot was going on, so I kind of just almost forgot it. And another one just said, just want to say, really appreciate what you guys do. So thank you guys.
Awesome,
Really cool
guys.
to be here. Yeah.
Well, much love to you all. Happy 2023. It's going to be an amazing year. A huge thank you to my whole team at Rustified and especially Artemis and Shadow for joining me as my co MCs. As always, thank you guys.
As always, you're welcome.
Yep,
And with that,
you're welcome, Bugs. And I just wanted to
awesome.
say as well, Happy New Year, and we're blessed to have this community that we have, and it's great each week.
Thank you, Artemis, for saying that. And I fully agree. So, with that, we're going to wind this stream down, make sure the servers are updated and running smooth for this fresh wipe day action. We will be back next week, same time, same place. In the meantime, Happy New Year. And I hope you all have a wonderful week and a wonderful wipe. This is Bugs signing off.